Nah, we probably won't be needing this today. Alright, welcome back everybody. We are going to finish the rest of the supercharger install today, so let's get right into it. Okay, we got our oil lines ran to where we are using them as a placeholder. So you can see we have the in and the out. Just had to funnel those in through here. You can see it's hooked up to the oil cooler. And next we're going to go ahead and get the plumbing for the intercooler lined up. So let's get into that. Okay, we got the intake manifold throttle body side of the intercooler hooked up. You can see it there, barely just fit. I mean, I'm not too happy with the quality of this kit so far. I mean, it barely fits, and you can even see here on this coupler, it's like kind of pinched, but I mean, that's the best way we got it to fit. Yeah, you can see here we got it hooked up to the intercooler. I haven't tightened down any of the clamps yet. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is how it goes. I guess we'll find out. I apologize for not actually getting any footage of this part on camera. Honestly, you probably would want to see it. A majority of it is just kind of me standing around trying to figure it out. And it's probably not very interesting, but it's in. Let's just keep going, and hopefully we don't run into any more fitment issues, but I'm pretty sure we will. So before we do the mounting of the supercharger, we have to fabricate a spacer for the power steering pump from Kraftwerks. This thing costs like 50 bucks, and you know what? Frankly, I think we can fabricate it using the OEM bracket. It really is basically this shape minus the adjusting part, and there might be a concern about the thickness, but I mean, some washers can help space it out. So I'm gonna give that a shot instead of giving them 50 bucks. So let's get into it and start modifying this bracket. Okay, and there's our bracket all cut. I think this is going to work. Let's give it a shot. So we got our modified spacer or modified bracket in there, and I kind of dry fitted the supercharger bracket, and kind of just already just looking at it, it seems like this is going to work. I don't think I have to put any spacers or I'm sorry, washers or anything like that to get it to line up. The only thing is there's the power steering pivot bolt right there, and there's a little bit of a gap right there, so I might have to put a washer there to kind of get it lined up flush with the rest of the mounting points. But I think this is going to work. I think we did it. Boom! Avoided paying 50 bucks unnecessarily for some cheap piece of metal. But all right, feeling pretty good about this. Let's go ahead and continue mounting up the supercharger. Yes, the bracket is in, which means the next step is to finally mount the supercharger. So let's not waste any more time. Let's do that. We got the supercharger belt on and we got it all tensioned to where it needs to be. That was a little bit of a bitch, but I'm gonna give you a top tip. You're going to want this tool. Jump cut. All right, so this is super helpful. I'm pretty sure I could not have gotten the belt on without this $5 tool. And there it is, stretch belt tool. And essentially what happens is you put this onto the crankshaft pulley, belt goes right here, and as you turn the crank clockwise, it'll start to like kind of push the belt onto the gear. Absolutely no way I would have gotten it without this simple tool. So if you're doing belts, even timing belt even, or supercharger belts, this right here is absolutely clutch to get. So make sure you do that.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. But yes, belt's on, it's tensioned, everything's tightened up into spec according to the torque spec. The next step we're gonna do is we need to finish putting the intercooler piping. It kind of fits like that. Pretty cool. And then finish running the intake, and then also connecting our fuel lines. Oh, that just went out. Connecting our fuel lines to the supercharger and then priming up the supercharger. We're almost there, you guys. We are like 90% there, so let's keep going. Okay, intake routing is done. It took like 3 times longer than it should have because my MAF sensor, I guess the bolts were stripped or the riv nuts were stripped or something like that, so it just kept spinning, so I had to cut it out. Also, it is a super tight fit, and I think also, unfortunately, I think because I have like extended top hats or something like that for my coilovers, it barely clears the intake. But I think I got it routed. The hood closes. I think we're good here. What's next is, oh, and we're gonna tighten all the clamps on the intercooler piping. And then there's a couple vacuum hoses that I gotta go ahead and hook up as well, but we're pretty much good there. Oh yes, look at how it's looking. The supercharger is pretty much all but hooked up. What we gotta do right now is we gotta trim the OEM fan shrouds to hopefully be able to fit this charge pipe right here. And then the only step left is basically to prime the supercharger and get the oil in here, and then prime it to get all the oil through the system before we crank it on for the first time. There's some other stuff too, as you can see. We gotta trim under trays, and you know, I gotta do the boost gauge eventually and stuff, but pretty much we are almost ready to turn this car on. Okay, fans are in. With a little bit of convincing and shoving, it fits. It's super tight. You can kind of see it's like rubbing up against the charge pipe, but fans are in. So next up is priming the supercharger to get the oil through it. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, go for it. There we go. That is not good. That is not good. All right, well, I hope everyone is proud of me because I don't know if you saw it in that clip, but when we started the car, it was struggling to start, and then it started smoking really bad. And what ended up happening is, you can see, focus, yeah, that's the belt. It basically melted. So What we think is happening is basically this idler pulley probably isn't spinning and it's just obviously creating friction. It's melting the belt. I have an idea of probably what it is because when I got the kit, again, secondhand, or maybe even from the factory, I don't know if it comes installed by Kraftwerks, but that pulley was not installed. So it looks simple enough. I just thought I had to attach it. I think it may have been assembled wrong or whatever, but the sucky thing is we're gonna have to pretty much yank everything back out so that we can get that idler pulley installed correctly, which sucks because, you know, everything's on, but now we gotta take it all back out. I mean, we gotta do it. So I'm not even gonna record that. I'm just gonna yank it out and hopefully it'll flash to when everything is installed correctly and we can try getting it started again. Yay. Okay, so we got the supercharger belt back on, torqued everything back down to spec, tightened and tensioned everything correctly, I think and I hope. So we're ready for the second time to turn on the car to see if everything works correctly. So wish us luck. Oh boy, I'm really nervous. All right, my dude, go for it. Good, hold on, it's good. Nothing's smoking, that's good. Okay, so far so good. Nothing's smoking, the belts look like they're spinning correctly. Right now we're just confirming the oil level, so we gotta let the car warm up a little bit, but so far, so good. Okay, so good news. It looks like everything is running the way it should be. We got our oil level to where they specified it should be. Didn't see any other problems or anything come up when we were doing the oil leveling, so that is a really good sign that we are boosted. The only things left that we have to do is I'm gonna put the boost gauge in so that we can make sure that we're boosting as well as we're not, you know, slipping the belt or anything like that. So we're gonna wire up the boost gauge. Then we gotta cut the under trays and do some other small bits before we get the wheels back on the car. They also suggest that we drive the car for about 60-65 miles without, you know, unnecessary revving or any wide open throttles to kind of break it in. So we're gonna go ahead and do that as well. But then hopefully this week we should be good to go for wide open throttle testing as well as to see how much power we're actually making. So I'm really stoked. Let's hurry up and get all of that stuff done out of the way so we can get to the fun stuff.
Oh, shit. Looks good.
All right, so we just got back from taking a real quick test drive of the Miata with the supercharger in it, and I have to tell you, it runs like crap. So the stock fuel management unit that comes with the kit is garbage. So we're gonna take that out and throw that away because I'm getting really lean conditions under boost, and I'm also getting a lean tip-in. So basically when I'm getting on the accelerator, the engine hesitates. I'm gonna have to get a new engine management unit. I already kind of knew that was gonna happen, and this just confirms that we have to do it. So this is where I'm gonna go ahead and end the episode since we really can't do much until the new fuel management unit comes in. So once that is in, we'll get that installed and we'll get back to testing and also our dyno pulls to see how much power we're making. So thanks again for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe to see how much power this puppy makes. See you next time.